Welcome to the Nomad Futurist Podcast, where ideas shape the future and visionaries redefine what's possible. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of technology, society, and human potential, spotlighting the voices driving change and reimagining our world. Connect with us and join us at media.nomadfuturist.org. The future is a story we write together. Let's kick it off. Here are your hosts, Phil and Nabil. Hello. Welcome to Nomad Futurist. This is your co-host, Nabil Mahmood, calling in from Hawaii.
This is your co-host, Philip Collins from Montclair, New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Adam Gibson. I'm based in the Gold Coast in beautiful Queensland, Australia right now.
Brilliant. Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Before we get started, could you introduce yourself at a very high level of who Adam Gibson is and what do you do?
I am a data center and fiber optic or network advisor. I have a few projects or companies that I am a part of, invest and support globally. Basically, I live, breathe, sleep DCs and hug fiber optic networks at night. I've done that for it's not 20 years. It's going to be probably 18 odd. I feel old. I came straight from high school into the space and haven't looked back. Haven't finished my degree, so I'm still technically uneducated. However, data centers make you run fast and learn quick. So I'm still learning and still evolving, but that's me. And I drink chocolate milk. And that's basically my saving grace at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm talking to people like Phil, when it's his afternoon, he's having a grand time. I need chocolate milk to sustain my dirty habit of enjoying data centers.
You can take the boy out of elementary school, but you can't take the elementary school out of the boy. It's like a warm hug every time I see that smiling face of yours. And maybe it's because you have aged so much more gracefully than the rest of us that you don't look like day out of high school. It's incredible.
Look, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And I think that the simple fact is data centers, when Phil had hair, data centers were a thing, but they weren't known publicly. They weren't a conversational starter. As it's evolved and we've known and loved them, it's become a part of the talking conversation. It's topical in a lot of ways. Whether it's good or bad about stealing power or abusing the rights, that I think it's wrong, and I'm all for nuclear and don't shoot me on it. But data centers are such a hot topic and people are enjoying it. And because I've been doing it for so long and I love what I do, people are now getting into that orbit and getting on boards. It's a part of why I support it and get involved of Nomad Futurist, is bringing new people and new talent in, and even talent that's come from a different area, getting involved in the DC space. So I am all for the hugs, the selfies, the love in DC space. If it helps grow them out for the right reasons, let's do it. DC's for life. Which obviously brings fiber. I love fiber network. There are some places you'd never think you'd build a data center. Now you have to because of just security, sovereignty, diversity, etc. But it's missing. It's got the power, it's got the land, it's got the people, but it's now missing connectivity. And we love the wireless 5G satellite world, but dark fiber, the physical glass in the ground, as we call it, needs to go somewhere. It needs to be built. So bring on more fiber to connect those sites up.
So you made a great point. It was a thing versus it is the thing now. That's the core differentiator. Adam, we have known each other for a few years as well, probably not as long as Koblenz, but the time that we have spent, you have shared some very interesting story in your journey into coming into the space. From school, like literally being a gamer and finding your swim lane. Could you share with our audience that journey of how you got involved and what got you involved in the space to begin with? And then how did you figure out the pathway that you were going to take?
I mean, simply I love to play video games, and what 13-year-old kid doesn't want to play video games these days? As the development and creativity of games back then, it makes me feel super old, but gaming back then was a different space where internet was not a mainstream. There's a different aspect of gaming appreciation. So there's a few buddies, we built networks locally, hired a hall, played some video games with friends, and it became a thing. So we had a regular gaming catch up and we did it all around Australia. So there's gamers from the other side, so East Coast, West Coast mentality, and we all flew over and played video games together. It was just coincidental that I had a local. It was 10 minutes from me. I set up a gaming event and it was just a one-day LAN. And one of the guys came and he was been a couple of times and he said, who owns the hardware? There's servers, there's infrastructure, and got switches. And I said, that's me. This is what I do. I've got friends at Netgear that helped me at the time. I'm buying some second-hand pedestal servers because I couldn't afford rack servers and wasn't really a thing. He said, right, I need to hire you. Can you come and check out the data center? I went, what's a data center? I went, right, that's what we need to do. So lucky me, I packed
How
up
old
the
were you at that
events
point?
and,
Were you at
16, 17, around that time. So he jumped in his car because I couldn't drive at that point, jumped in his car and he said, right, let's go. This is a stranger, but it was a friendly stranger because we play video games. So he's part of a circle. Rang my parents and said, I'm going. It was quite surreal walking into a building and all you can hear was a hum from the outside. Then we're going back 2007 timeframe where rack servers were there, but not really there. And this was just a server farm because people were just hiring dedicated servers because they couldn't afford the real rack servers. So these are just pallet racking and it delivered the goods. It was what it was. And now I'm seeing that exact same style in Bitcoin mining. I'm seeing that exact same style in AI deployments, just where it's one rack in a room or a couple of servers in a room on delivering power. And that's what it was. So from there, I was a night technician. I learned what Linux was and all power to the Linux communities, the Debians, the CentOSes, which is, we'll say, when cPanel was a real web hosting platform before change. But all the fun and games around that part of the world, learning Windows Server 2003 with domain controllers and the stuff that you can't forget now. I still remember the pinouts of USB headers, which is very scary. And that I hadn't really, and again, the change of technology as we all see it, you don't need a pin now. It's just a plug and play. So I still remember red, white, green, black, red, white, green, black. It's in my head. It's in there. I don't understand. But
which one do I cut?
Red
color.
one.
There's no green wire.
What gets you into gaming? Is there some technology background amongst your parents? Did you grow up in a community that had any exposure to technology, or was it just right place, right time, right geeky set of friends?
Look, it's probably, I would say I do have a lot of geeky friends. We prefer nerds. I think nerds is a better thing. Geeks nerds are a bit more sociable in my eyes.
Have I offended
my
you by
buddy-
calling you a geek?
I don't know if I'm offended. I feel like I got a bit more suave than a geek, that's for sure.
Right.
Look, I was fortunate. I love video games and my parents were supportive of my crazy ideas of building computers till 3:00 in the morning. They're not drinking, they're not smoking, they're not partying and just playing video games and working was the let me do my own. So I was lucky enough and fortunate that my family supported me in my little world. So that was a saving grace, and having a support network I think is pretty cool, regardless of what career you're doing. Having a buddy system, it's like Toy Story. You have a moving buddy. In the real world, you have a buddy system, someone you can talk to, a confidant, someone who can chat to you about anything. And my parents were like that at a young age, where they said, run, have fun, we'll support you. And that's where it came to be. So meeting the gaming gang, which I still play with today, there was a group about 15 of us. Now it's about 6 of us. Some of them have moved away to the US and to other countries to do work. Some of them work for Oracle and Google, and one works for
Some of them
NVIDIA.
started doing work.
Real work, that's right. Float around, stay at home, but we still game now. And we do it from home. We have steaks. We have a quite healthy lifestyle. So it's enjoyable.
Literally are addicted to chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk, steaks, and video games. That's, if you can put me the 3 things, let's go.
So what experiences do you think shaped your perspective on the technology and the global connectivity?
You think of the historical world of what was, what is, what's going to be the future. We know that there's some basic things. And as I've said in panels and things like that, the internet is now utility. It's a part of our life. When you go to a house, you order a power connection, you order a water connection, a gas connection, an internet connection. That's just the fundamentals. People say you can't live without those 4. And I agree, you have to have it to live a sustainable life. Now, where does the internet come from? That's a magical question that goes back to glass in the ground, buildings. We could love to build DCs in space. And look, if I could be on a board to support a data center in space, I'm all for it, but that's not going to happen today. It may happen in the future, but we still need connectivity. We still need the fundamentals. I've learned over the years, go to the basics. We know that there's some crazy AI deployments of megawatt sites and within megawatt racks and gigawatt campuses and things like that. But it still goes back to fundamentals. The simple nature is we have to power the internet. People need crazy cat videos or buildings and all the fun stuff that AI generates, and the email contributions and all the functionality that needs to be stored somewhere, it needs to be cooled somewhere, it needs to be powered somewhere, it needs to be connected somewhere. So go back to those basics. That's what we're seeing. It's just now gone gangbusters, if that's the word we'll use, to deliver that. It's gone from what was building. I love building sites. Don't get me wrong. It's a fun thing, but it's changed. Building a 10 megawatt data center or even a 30 megawatt data center is now converted to building 30 megawatt halls. And that's the difference. It now becomes the big boy club. And that's a part of the challenge I see in this industry, is that it's grown so quickly that it's hard for some entrants to come in. I feel sorry for the guys who've got some brilliant ideas that just simply don't have the capital because they want to build a purpose-built 5 megawatt data hall, but can't get the capital because they go, well, it's 5 million or 10 million or 20 million. No, we want hundreds of millions to spend. It's like you're forgetting the whole purpose of what the business is about. It's about enabling, supporting a region with the fundamentals of connecting them to services. So yes, I'm all for building gigawatt campuses, but don't forget about the 50 megawatt or the 10 megawatt or the 5 megawatt site in that area to support, because you can't get the services back to Virginia or Singapore. There's risk, there's a profile. We've run out of space, run out of power. There's too much in one spot. So bring it back, spread it out, support what we need to.
I think one of the things that's super missing that we were able to get in our, I'll lump myself in with your generation. I am a little bit older than you. I'm sure the people looking at this on YouTube will suggest that I am a lot older than you just by looking at the two of us. And I just think that when you came of age at, let's call it the turn of the century, the late 2000s, you had the benefit of extending the timeline through which you could experience the different elements of compute. Like you built the network hub in your own little microcosm. You built the compute environments and fundamentally understood the building blocks. And then when you transcribe that onto a data center, it made sense. It's just a bigger version of what you built in your parents' basement or in your garage or down the block in your gaming communities. And then now we're at this kind of crazy breakneck pace where people are building these hyperscale is not even the right word anymore. Now it's a gigafactory or AI factory, ultra mega hyperscale, whatever they want to call it. But fundamentally, it's those same building blocks that your perspective and your experience can allow you to comprehend in a way that I don't think someone coming of age today that's being thrown into this world has the benefit of the time. One of the reasons we started Nomad Futurist is to try to kind of accelerate the process through which we can like give folks that are interested, students that are interested, that experience that they can't really get organically because we don't have the time for them to learn kind of the old-fashioned way. And they're starting on third base already because they're getting gigabit to the home. They're not having to suffer through the 9600 baud modems. So I guess the question is, how much of that experience that you had building it yourself is applicable today in your ability to kind of understand what people that are talking about these hugely complicated campuses with 100 megawatt, 50 megawatt pods and 100 megawatt pods on a gigawatt campus are building?
Essentially, it's all of it, but it's none of it. You got to understand that 56K modem, it's irrelevant. It doesn't make any sense now because that's simply too slow. People are now, the kids these days, just don't get it. They go, what's that sound? It takes too long. But the fundamentals of the communication piece and what it's doing, enabling you, that special little ringtone, which I've got on my phone, it's one of my ringtones on my phone that when it comes to, I know that means it's an alarm, by the way. Dial-up modem is an alarm, not good. It sends a communication. It connects you to the rest of the world. The kids these days rolling with iPads and go, right, I'm going to take it further. I've got an app that does that compared to I need to hire an architect to sketch this out. Now, we all need the architects, we all need the engineers, but there's now, we'll call it cheat nodes or cheat codes to do certain things to get ahead. But it's really disappointing because they're using it, but not understanding how it came to be, why it came to be, what the reason for it is to be. That's a part of the worry we have in the training, and that's a part of why I started an advisory business is that exact reason. People go, we need to build a data center. I've seen it. They're going to make money. They've got this demand for it, but it's like, what's the core function? What's the purpose? What are you trying to build and why are you trying to build it and why are you trying to build it there and how did it come to be? You got to appreciate that it's the old saying, the engineer comes in, finds that there's a knocking. He uses a spanner and taps it in the right spot and charges 10 grand. He was there for 5 minutes. And it's not about, he has the skill set. He charges for his time. I'm not saying I'm expensive by any means, but I've got the skill set to support the $1 trillion DC business or vertical or solution or package, just because there are some things that just get dismissed now, but have just been entrenched into my head from the years and years and years of waiting for images to load. I wanted to look at particular high definition before, and it was only called 720p. That kind of thing was not even full HD, but it was loading time. Now, if I was 5 years older, I would have experienced a little bit more, Commodore 64 and things like that. but I'm glad I'm not 5 years younger or 10 years younger, because I've missed the fun. I've missed the fun stuff.
No
right?
doubt. I mean, look, I feel for people that come of age today as computer engineers because the actual compute has been so obfuscated from them.
Yeah.
They're building on systems that they have no fundamental opportunity to learn how they work because there's no value placed on that knowledge. And then when something goes wrong, they just look at the AWS color. Oh, it's amber, so I guess it's coffee time.
Yeah. And I think the funny part is the engineering piece. You look at an old cert, let's look at IDE drives. If we go way back, the jump ring settings to master and secondary or primary slave or master slave, whatever the different labelings were for the vendors, the jumpers made a world of difference. If that was a fault, we know how to fix because we pulled apart things like that. Because hardware is getting deployed by robots and getting deployed so quickly, it's a commodity now. That so it doesn't work. Just throw it out or I just shut it down and I spin up a new one. It's a different lifestyle now. It's all about speed. And I love speed, don't get me wrong. And people get annoyed by me because I work crazy hours and like to run fast. But there's a place and time for things to be broken down and learned. And that's what I really love about what we're doing collectively. And as people coming together, you bring that historical information that helps the youngins. And there's a bunch of them now. They were born in 2000s, which is very scary. Coming to this industry, which we also love, but we teach them the right ways, not just the only way, which is email someone else to fix the problem for them. They need to learn it, right? That's the whole point.
If you're lucky enough to email someone else and not just like a bot. Let's get to know Adam Gibson a little bit. What was your parents' reaction to you saying, I get it. I just got through high school, but I'm done now. I'm going to hang out in my buddy's van.
They were very opening and welcoming to, let me explore. They knew that I was a tech head. That was something that they saw early on. My father is very much a fabricator. So the welding, the painting, the drills were used for not screwing in cases, but they're used to screwing in wood planks and things like that. So I got to understand how to paint. I've painted quite a few things over the years in his painting booth. So I've got experience what it's like, but I found an appreciation for technology. So over the years, the first DC I had, I invited my parents and my father came along and he did a TZ tour with me. So every site that I've been a part of, that I can bring a tour of people around. My father always comes and checks out the sites. He's probably done about 98% of the sites over the years that I've managed or owned or operated. He's come and toured because it's a different world for him. So he is all for it. He's experienced what it's like to build a fiber network. He's seen the trucks and that's his part of the world. Digging trenches, he's used to that. So he's understanding that function. But then what does that glass do? How does it connect? Coming from a different part of a vertical into the tech space, out of the construction space, it's been enjoyable to see my parents support me, but also get an appreciation of what this world's becoming.
Do you have any siblings?
I have a sister and she's younger. I think the official number is 2 years, 10 months. So I say about 3 years. She was in childcare. That was where she grew into the space. She loved children much more than I did and like handling and spending time with them. Crazy as she is, she loves it and gets on with it. Now she's running her own little practice or doing something like that. So my parents have worked their butts off to support us in education and to get us ahead. So hats off to them for letting us be who we are, but supporting us where we can.
Now, you've been an ambassador. You have just an amazing story, an amazing journey. As an ambassador, what's your vision, knowing that we are going to be expanding in the ANZ region here? What's your vision for the next generation, and how do we go about addressing this human capital deficit at the CAGR that we're growing at?
Look, I love that Nomad coming to Australia and supporting that in the bottom part of the world, as we say. So sometimes we get forgotten, but we're very powerful.
If you're doing a handstand, it's the top of the world.
That's right. Depends on which way you look at it. And if it's flat, then, who knows which way it directs. But that's a different story for a different time. But essentially, we're seeing a lot of migration. People coming to Australia because of geopolitical problems, and it's a better place to be for some of us. Some people move to other regions because they've learnt enough and want to explore. We see a lot of expats in Singapore and Japan and Korea. Now places like Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, because they've come to Australia, they've learned the Aussie way of life, as it were, which is very much a work hard, work your butt off, but also support your family. And that's what it's about. So we're now at a point where Australia is becoming such a crucial part with the Five Eyes and with the way that it connects. Being so far south, it can connect to Europe for one part of Australia and connect to the US and the other part of Australia. So why aren't we doing more and more? We're seeing that with the DC expansion. Our friendly neighbours, New Zealand, we can't forget the New Zealand folk, the Kiwis. So they're getting a bit of love as well because they have a bunch of renewable infrastructure already. They're a smaller country, but a bit of land mass. So it's like Japan. That country has been growing exponentially for a lot longer than most other APAC sites. So we're seeing now that coming to Australia is going to help that massive growth, but seeing the kids that now seeing data centers popping up. If you literally fly over Brisbane, fly over Sydney in particular, parts of Melbourne, you're going to see NextCC's branding, you're going to see Global Switch's branding, you're going to see Equinix has got their sites everywhere. It's like when you fly into Virginia. I love flying into ITW, going into Dulles, and you're going over, I reckon there's about 50 DC you fly over and you go, that's a flight path risk if you're wearing the DC hat. But as a person who loves them, I go, there's one. There's QTS sign. You just love seeing it. And that's what gets me out of bed. That's what I enjoy. But sharing that love to see the growth in Australia and APAC and helping the younger generation come in. We love they're going to go to Google. We love they're going to go to Microsoft. We love they're going to Amazon, the big players that do scoop them up. And look, if you're a Google or whatever you call with the hats, the special rotating, the thing that they do, the speed band, the things that they get is wonderful, and it helps the resume and helps support. I love it, but we also know that at some point things change and you got to move on. You're going to have some experience. So if you go in with the experience, and we know that it's not stopped growing here in APAC, but it's people saying that whilst Virginia is going hard and places like France and Germany, Norway, Sweden, Finland are all got their own massive growth. Australia or APAC as a whole is a region that is exponentially going because we have so many small islands being little countries that need the expansion because subseas connect to them and the DC world is becoming more sovereign. So we need the people. That's the simple fact is we need the people.
What advice would you give someone that's starting and doesn't know about the data center industry?
That's a tough one because you need to ask them, what do they want? There's so many pieces now. I'd love to get a doctorate in data centers, become Dr. DC, Dr. AGDC. That'd be cool. But what does a doctorate consist of? It's such a hard top because no, it's not just mechanical, but now you've got AI. So you've got all the liquid and the fluid dynamics, you've got all the other aspirations. So it's a question of what do you want to do? And there are so many areas now that data centers can support in. We understand that can be a long day. We understand that there's some late nights. We understand there's some early starts, but everyone's got that in some way, shape of life, whether it be kids or whether it be other jobs. It's just, that's a part of what you do. If you want to enjoy it, it pays well, it supports you. It's not a business that's going out tomorrow. You're not a chimney sweeper, as an argument's sake. Data centers are growing exponentially. There's a significant amount of capital and a significant amount of growth. It's a great opportunity. What do you want to do? There's a spot for you and work yourself into it. Don't just jump in as a VP going, I've got this. You don't know what you're doing. There is so much time. If you're young enough or if you're old enough, you want to get into the space, there is a spot for you. Be open, accepting. Don't just go, I need to be in this spot because I believe it. Work through it. It's a different part of the world in what you come from or where you want to get to.
I think there's one person that may rival Nabil's travel schedule, and that would be you're rarely in the same place. Certainly 150 flights, 180 nights away from home. What are some of your takeaways from the hectic travel schedule, the impact on your family? Like, what do you do to stay centered with all that traveling?
So I think my post, I did an annual Spotify rewind or whatever they call it. This year wasn't a record for me, but it has been previously. But I did 153 continuous days of listening to music or on Spotify. So I'm definitely getting my subscription values worth, that's for sure. But that's something that helps me in my travel. Trying to sleep. I don't eat on the plane. It's something I try and avoid. I'm sick of eating plane foods and lounge foods. It helps me catching up with friends, meeting people around the world because there's nothing like a home cooked meal. And when you spend enough time away, getting a chicken schnitzel or a small steak instead of just some rubbish that's on the plane rejuvenates and refreshes the brain. I think that's something that is critical is when you travel so much, and it's all for opportunities, it's all for customers. It's not like it's just on holidays. I think that's something that's missing is my holidays, I don't travel. I drive. I'm down the Gold Coast, but I'm doing a bit of work while I'm down here, but I spend a couple of days to get a bit of sunshine and be away from home because I'm around in the state, but trying to get out of the house because I don't want to be sitting stuck in there, but just not traveling and enjoying that time. It's getting that sun, getting that walking in. You've got to do something. You got to keep moving and looking after yourself because there's only so many hours you can do in a day. As much as you try and double and triple down, you still get 44. It's just how do you look after yourself in between where you can. So yeah, it is really tough. And I've said to my family, I won't do this forever. I'll probably do it time to time. I'm 40. So I've got 5 years to go before I, drop that down to probably only 10, 20 flights a year, maybe 30 flights a year.
Right, expanding it. You're expanding it. There's a 10, 20, went from 10 to 30.
But look, if I can be under 100 in 5 years time or under 90 or under 80, whatever it is.
Oh my God.
That'd be nice. I think it's achievable, and I can see that that's going to change. And I love the industry of the circuit. I'll never miss the PTC. I'll never miss an ITW. I'll never miss a capacity or a data cloud. But
You've just listed all of them.
No, I haven't. There are many more.
Many
there
more,
are so
Phil.
many more.
Never miss a
Every day
data
of the
cloud, capacity, DCD, or PTC.
I didn't say look, the
Well, you're
joy
going to
of-
miss W Medias.
And that's the best part is that there's some pretty cool events and some important ones you go to. And sometimes I'm going to do alternate and things like that. I've said that to different events that I speak at and support. And I just have to. It's about lifestyle. It's about support. You get to a point where you can't get on the circuit and stay on the circuit and be at every single event every day. Your body starts to wear out.
And at some point, you have to work, right? It's one thing to just go to these events and do it. And I know you are what was your title? Wrangler. And you wrangle these events. So it is working. There's no doubt.
Yep.
But at some point, you need home base in order to actually do the things and get like everybody moving. So much of what we do ends up being project management and communicating to the people within our kind of spheres of influence what we just spent the last week promising. Right? So,
Yeah. And that's something that my teams around the globe that I work with and support, they're used to getting there like, you email me at 3 o'clock morning your time. What are you doing? And it's just like, I've been up, I've been flying, and I get so much work done in lounges and so much work done in transit. That's where I sort of wrap up. When you bounce from one event to another event, or you're heading home, and again, living in the bottom part of the world, there's always a bit of travel time. There's always 10, 12 hours, 24 hours, 28 hours, 40 hours that I can sit in a lounge and get 8 hours work done, while transiting. So I'm lucky enough that what I do, I can be done remotely. So I have had many calls at bizarre hours from many different hotel rooms, and we're getting stuff done. But yes, I do want to slow down so that I can spend more time in my home office and look at the photos of the walls and stuff like that compared to random concrete pillars, let's say.
I think when we introduced to the Nomad Futurist community, you were walking around Italy trying to get a sandwich.
I think it was in Florence.
That's right.
Just off the data cloud, and I went around to check out a data center.
It's like Where's Waldo? They were just like, oh, where in the world is Adam Gibson? Where in the world is Adam Gibson? All right, look, there is no doubt your passion for the industry is infectious. Just from a Nomad Futurist perspective, I would much rather you be the salesperson for bringing people into this industry rather than me being the salesperson. Thank you so much for being you. Never change.
Appreciate you guys, and looking forward to supporting further.
Thanks so much for joining, Adam, and thank you for your continued support. Lovely having you. Thank you for joining us on the Nomad Futurist Podcast. Remember, technology, markets, and challenges will continue to evolve, but those who adapt and prepare are the ones who will thrive. Embrace the change, stay curious, and let's build a future worth moving towards. The journey has just begun, and we are glad you are here with us. Visit us anytime at media.nomadfuturist.org to stay connected and be a part of the movement. Until next time, keep exploring.